We are back here on the Elias Macko Show, and look who's walked into our studios on the corner of Papineau and René-Lévesque, none other than Leslie Roberts. Used to be in the chair that I'm in, and now, of course, part of the people at Montreal City Hall, and he's on the executive committee, associate councillor on the executive committee, responsible for Anglos, universities, downtown core. Let's check a lot of boxes. How was your commute this morning? Blue collars blocking roads, strike action this week. You won't get a ticket for street cleaning. Okay, there's some small miracles out of that. But what's going on here? What about this conflict, this labor conflict right now?
All right, so I think we've had this conversation before when I first was elected with Soraya, that our administration inherited 7 unions that were up for negotiations. So this is one of them. I will tell you, and it came right from the president of the executive committee's mouth at our borough council just 2 nights ago, Claude Pinal, where he said we support the blue-collar workers. In fact, our actions show that. So in recent years, the city has hired or has increased its managers by 10% and 0 blue-collar hires. We've come in and we've now hired a few extra blue-collar workers to do some of the work that ultimately we should be doing, and that is giving services to the public. In, for example, in Ville Marie, we have the cleaning ones, the pothole patrols. So that's showing the support of the administration. I'm hearing that the talks are going well, that the talks are ongoing. But if I were a union, until the contract is signed, you have the right to do your pressure tactics, and that's why they're doing it, to make sure that that contract is signed.
Do we have the budget? Do we have the fiscal resources to give them, like, because it seems like salary is a big thing here, right? Like 11% over 5 years, and they're like, nope, not enough.
We're not going to negotiate in the media. I will say that accountability when it comes to every tax dollar is in the DNA of Claude Pinal, and so that's all I can say.
Do you think it does them any favors when they do actions like blocking bridges, blocking roads? When you see them do that, is there a message
I'll
there?
let the public decide. Yeah. I mean, our job is to provide the services and to get the contract signed, and that's where we're at.
Do you feel the previous administration punted the ball on purpose to leave? And it could have been them, right? They could have gotten reelected. But do you feel they punted on purpose? We'll wait till after the next election to deal with this, and now you're stuck with it?
No idea. I just know we are.
Okay.
Seven of them, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, so maybe there's more to come on this front. All right, I want to talk about sporting events. And, I know there are scars on this city. There are people that believe because we failed so spectacularly at hosting an Olympics in 76, and we didn't fail at hosting, we failed at financing and building and that kind of stuff.
It still hurts.
But because we got those scars, we can never host big events. And you can look back at E-Race, Denny Coderre, who's now a big fiver, but you can look at the whole bunch of sporting event scars.
Yeah, it was a good coup, by the way, to get Denny.
Yeah, that's right. It was great times this week.
Yeah.
So because of that, people are like, don't bring any sporting events here. And by the way, it worked for the World Cup. We're not having a World Cup come here this year.
We dodged a bullet on that one.
Well, you feel, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have seen it, but look at the ballooning costs and everything, right? And I think that was one where the right decision was made. It was controversial because, of course, we have such passion for that, and it's growing every day. But I think we our hangover, as it were, when it comes to sporting events, played out in our favor.
Having said that, we are going to be welcoming the biggest sporting event that's been in Montreal since the 1976 Olympics.
Yep. That's
the big cycling event. It is going to, it's interesting because it's going to cause chaos. Road closures are going to happen. Park Avenue for a whole month between Mount Royal and Pine. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Is it going to be worth it?
Well, here, let me give you some stats and then you decide. So it's the UCI Road World Championship. And if you are a cyclist fan, this is the World Championship. This is the quote unquote Olympics of the sport. Yeah. It is coveted by those in the circles of cycling. 13 races, 1,000 athletes, 80 countries. There'll be 5,000 team members here in terms of their delegations. An estimated 500,000 spectators will come and watch, while over 250 million viewers worldwide will follow this event. And here's the bottom line. Economic and tourism impacts projected at $76 million for Montreal. You tell me if you think it's worth it.
Well, listen, to me, sporting events have always been a bit of a no-brainer. I know that. I'm biased, right? I want the Expos to come back because I feel every night for 6 months, the word Montreal on American TV sets, that's priceless. And I get you. You have TV ratings where they're going to be showing the skyline. They're going to be showing the roads. hopefully we'll have a face that doesn't show potholes and that kind of stuff.
It's being worked on, I can tell you. It's been a tough spring. It is a tough day out there, I think, because of the fluctuation. Everything that can be done to make sure that stretch of road is safe, not only in terms of potholes, but up, because it's going to go around Chameleon Hood at one point, and there's part of the cliff that hangs over there that needs to be reinforced. So we're working on it. I guess the lesson from the potholes is, and then in previous years, when one of the cyclists at one of such event, member fell into a pothole. I mean,
what a bad look that was.
What a bad look it was.
That had an international component to it as well. So it seems like the city is gung-ho for more things like this. The qualifying events for the 2028 Summer Games, those are going to be in Los Angeles, but the city wants to host a bundle of qualifying events for that. Is this, we talked about continuation of labor strife from the previous administration to yours. Is this your administration's doing, or are you just going to keep going here with the flow of what was already in the works?
I think that this is an example of one of our promises. Was during the campaign, Soraya said, "Look, we got to fix the problems that we have so that we can, as a city, dream of the big projects again, but do it right and learn from the past." And so this is a good example where we're dipping our toe in, if you like, where it's an Olympic qualifying event, and we're putting our candidacy forward with limitations. I mean, we're not throwing everything out there to get it. I think it's an opportunity for us to stay on the world-class scene when it comes to major events, like, dare I use the word, Olympics. But it is very much showing that we have the potential and the ability to do so without the billion-dollar cost.
Well, so it seems like things are different now. Like I remember, in the past, cities would have to break the bank to get the Olympics. And now if you look particularly on the Winter Olympics side, they are doing them lean with existing facilities primarily. They're expanding geographically so that, look at the games that were in Italy, right? It was not just in Milan. It was actually the most large geographic area that's ever been used for an Olympic Games. And I know people have talked about, hey, 2038, there may be an opening for a Winter Olympics that Canada could host. And Calgary's dipping their toes. And I just wonder, I've said this on air, for Montreal, we've got most of the venues in the city. We could use our ski hills in neighboring towns, Tremblant, for some of the skiing events. Lake Placid is less than 2 hours away. The bobsled's there, the skeleton, all of that stuff could happen there.
Different country, though.
But you know what? Listen, look at the World Cup. It's three countries this time around.
Maybe.
So I just wonder if your administration, if the Soraya Martinez-Farad administration is an administration that will say over the next 4 years, let's think big. We can do it on a budget. It's not Olympic Stadium 1976. Are you more open to things like this?
I would say we're always open. I mean, the feeling is, I'm going to repeat what I said, is that we want to be able to dream big. But in the meantime, we have some foundation repairs to make, literally and figuratively. Some of these sporting centers you talk about need our entire repair. And I think at this point, doing the very basic to provide services to the public, whether it's potholes or sports and leisure, is on our radar.
But you just said, here's the thing. You just said about the bike races. It's going to bring $76 million. You know what I mean? Like that. This is to make money.
So here's my challenge to you, Mr. Makos, friend. Put the business plan together, and you know, if you want to do it for the Expos team, do it as well. I've seen our buddy on Twitter with his dream.
Ashkan Carberfrushin.
Well said. But there's no core Montreal business community that wants to spend this kind of money, and I don't know if taxpayers want to spend it without that support financially.
All right, Leslie Roberts from the City of Montreal, sticking around here. We're extending our City Hall segments. Leslie, there's actually a lot of stuff we want to get to. Before we get anywhere else, after you leave here, there's a big announcement from the City of Montreal. Now, I know you can't scoop yourself, okay? But what can you tell us about the event that you're holding this afternoon, why it's important?
Can we agree that downtown is in the process of going through a transformation? It's one of our it's one of our goals. As the council responsible for the downtown core, it is what is my bread and butter in terms of making a difference. We've changed zoning for some of the I was going to say commerçants, the businesses. And today we have some good news for the restaurateurs, which I can't scoop myself, but let's just put it this way. We know how important in the summertime terraces are, not only for the restaurant owners, but I really think for the downtown core, because it really brings life to the public space that is downtown. And more importantly, they support the local economy.
Yes.
So we will.
So you're giving the fire inspectors guns.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, I'll tell you this. It's going to be the opposite. In fact, Fire Chief Liebman is going to be there at the announcement today, as will Sandra Ferrara from Cafe Ferrara.
She's going to be there?
She will be there as well.
Well, so I think that says a lot.
Thank you. And I can't say more than that, other than to say that this is all about making some right decisions after some wrong decisions were made.
So you're not saying it, but I'm reading between the lines and saying what's coming up this afternoon is news that says, Montreal, our restaurants, our cafes and bars, we need you, we love you, and we're going to make life easier for you. That's what it sounds like to me. I said it.
I won't disagree with that.
Innovation Hub downtown Montreal. Tell me about this. This is near and dear to your heart. What's happening with this?
So this is a living lab. We know we have so much in terms of AI to offer here. And so what we're doing is we're using the downtown core as the test that will, over the next year or so, look at how we can implement AI to make everything work. We're talking about from management to mobility. It's an initiative to rethink how downtown operates. So from now until May 1st, we're actually calling on Montreal-based companies to bring to us innovative ideas, which I think is really cool. And think out of the box.
You're saying give us unsolicited fixes. Solve our problems, and we're going to listen to you.
And I heard the study did some. The students at the study had some app that they came with. We know they're out there. It's just a question, and so we actually have a website where you can put forward your idea, and so we're calling on Montreal-based companies. Keep it local for these ideas. Solutions are going to be tested in real time in real conditions between June and September, right in the district of Peter McGill. And this is all about a pilot project looking at new ways of doing things, make us more agile, more collaborative.
Is there an example? Can you give me an example of a type of project that would be part of this?
So when you put a construction site together, you have so many different players. You have Énergir, you have Hydro, you have, go through the list. You have the city, and then you have potentially the developer, the subcontractor, and they all come with a different plan together, and it comes at a big desk. It takes just so many human hours to be able to coordinate all those things. AI, if you put all that into one machine, will be able to coordinate so that if a guy calls in sick, we have an immediate reason to replace him and a plan B always. Whereas right now you have to call the company and say, this guy isn't showing up. We can't get the work going. That's the simplistic, but we want to take it even further when it comes to, and think outside the box.
Efficiency.
Yeah. And more information on the City of Montreal website. Of where you can
fantastic. Let me try and tie the thread from what we were talking about when we began our segment in the last half to now, and that's news out of Vancouver. So the mayor of Vancouver, the new mayor, so Ken Sim comes in as mayor, and now he's like, hey, I want Major League Baseball in our city. I want people to come to me with proposals. We are going to support you. Let's bring baseball to Vancouver.
Define support, Mr. Mayor.
So you're asking more questions?
Yeah, well, I think it would have been nice. If I were the mayor of another city in Canada, I would call Montreal immediately and say, give me all the lessons you've learned and show me the bills that are left over these many years later. I think he's a dreamer. I salute them.
Should we be dreaming?
Well, we are dreaming, but we're dreaming not in Technicolor. We're actually dreaming in realistic terms of what we can do. And that's going to repeat what I said in the last segment, which is basically we got to get our house in order, and then we say, okay, what's next?
If someone were to come to you and say, we have lined up $10 billion
from
we want to bring from anywhere, investment,
secure sources,
$10 billion from investors. Yeah, we want to make Montreal a baseball home. We're going to vie for an expansion team. Would there be support? I mean, maybe you can't say this, but would there be support at City Hall?
Well, I'll speak for myself. Yeah. If you come with a business plan that makes sense, the least I can do is present it to the mayor and Claude Pinal, the executive committee. I mean, why not? I mean, they're getting ideas all the time. But remember, what's the old joke? What's the best way to become a millionaire? Be a billionaire and buy a baseball team, right? So, I mean, it's
true.
It's all about dollars and cents, and if it makes sense.
We'll end on that one.
Sure.
Leslie, thanks for coming in.
Always a pleasure.
Leslie Roberts going to have a big announcement this afternoon for Terrasses Downtown, and he is Associate Councillor on the Executive Committee.
Hello, Canada.
This is Bryan Adams Radio. Hosted by Bryan Adams himself.
We'll play a few of mine, a ton of my favorites, and some must-hear behind-the-scenes stories from the world of rock and roll. Coming to get you! One thing about doing rock and roll so long is you end up meeting a lot of the people that you admire. Sometimes you even get to work with them.
It's only love, and that's all. Bryan Adams Radio. I'm coming back to you. Now available on the free iHeartRadio app. Everybody